I'm coming to you from the relic wall. Yep, right here in front of this wall. I do a lot of my videos right here, and normally I do them in the daytime, but sometimes I get home from work and it still ain't daylight savings time. So right here, beginning of February, and it's still dark. So, but I wanted to tell you about some things. Number one, I've got some new accessories for the Legend. And what I'm going to do is I want to show you those, and then here in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you something cool. The first one I want to show to you is I want to show you this cover that I got for the Legend. Now my wife bought me for Christmas, she bought me the cover to protect the screen. She bought me it for the Simplex, but I wanted to get this one here as well. So I actually purchased this one and got this one in the mail a couple weeks ago. And man, I like this thing. Now it is a little bit aggravating, especially I'm wearing gloves, getting my finger right over some of these, because if you got gloves on or whatever, sometimes you can't really see your thumb, but you have that sometimes. From what I can tell right now, it looks like it's going to hold up well. I'm just concerned down the road that some of this red paint or whatever they call that will come off of the material that it is adhered to. But until then, I'm not worried about it. But you can still see the screen real good, even though it does have that protective layer over it, that protection over it. But that's cool. I like to have that. And on this side here, it goes all the way down to the light, and it has the NOKTA brand. You see the NOKTA brand right there. So updating the Detector when it comes to the name, they are branding, rebranding. They rebranded the company from NOKTA Macro to NOKTA. NOKTA, every how you want to say it, doesn't matter. Anyway, other than that, I do have one more thing. A couple weeks ago, I told y'all that I had ordered something. Well, it came in the mail today, and again, it's dark, so I wasn't able to actually get up here and film this till it was pitch black dark. So got that cool light I got from my wife on the camera, and so it allows me to be able to get up here and shoot some video even in the dark. But I have the LG24 coil, and yes, it has the NOKTA logo right there as well, just NOKTA. But I do have the new coil. It came in the mail, so that's awesome. I'm so glad it did. And I'm gonna strap this baby on the Legend here in just a couple minutes. And of course, I'm not going to metal detect tonight because it's dark, but I'm going to metal detect. I'm going to get out there and do some detecting, and I'm going to try to do that this weekend. And we'll just have to see how this baby does. But I wanted to let you see it, and the dimensions of this thing is just a little bit bigger than the SP24 coil. Its dimensions are 9.5, which is the same as the Simplex, by 6. And the Legend, the Simplex SP24 coil is 9.5 by 5. So you're gaining an inch right here compared to the Simplex SP24 coil. But guys, I am super excited to be able to put this thing on the Legend. And y'all know I was an advocate for the SP24 coil. I was really, and have been, a big advocate of the 24. Just does really, really well. Target separation, still gives you some great depth with it. And so I'm really excited to see how the LG24 coil will do on that Legend. But anyway, what I want to do for the remainder of this video, since I wasn't able to get out, let me give you a little backstory. You ready? I had some footage, and I went to a buddy's house the other day. Me and a guy named Kevin, he was in the video a couple weeks ago when we were finding the V-nickels. Kevin came out with me. He's real big into bottle digging. And we went to somebody's house, a guy that we work with, and we went looking for some bottles. And the reason why we went looking at this particular place is because the guy that we went to, the man's house that we went to, he found years ago, he found a South Carolina dispensary bottle. And man, that thing is nice. We were itching to get back up there. He said he had found several bottles in that area a few years ago, and we wanted to go in there and refine that area out in the woods, dig down and see if there was anything else, especially those South Carolina dispensary bottles, because they are worth some money. But that's what we were after. And so we got up there looking around, and we never found what we were looking for. But they were also a lot of down trees and things like that. So it's possible that maybe the spot that he was looking at, the spot that he was digging on, now has some big, huge downed trees from a storm that went through there a couple years ago. So I don't know if we'll ever find it again. But while we were up there, though, the property next door, there was 2 old outhouses, 2 privies, and we actually are working on that permission now to get those permissions for those privies, and maybe we can go out there and do some privy digs and get on some bottles or something back there as well. And these are some old privies, so there's still a chance that we might be able to find something out in those same neck of the woods. And but anyway, I didn't have any footage for that. A lot of time we were out there using metal detectors trying to find the locations of everything, and I was making fun of Brian, the guy who owns the property, because I'm like, Brian, ain't no bottles out here. You bought that at the Jockey Lot. What I do want to show you for the remainder of the video, this takes you way back a few years. I like doing these history segments, and in doing so, I have some history segments for you guys to look at. And these are old finds that we had years and years ago. But I want you to take a few minutes, if you wouldn't mind, watch these couple that we have here. These are really good finds, and I put the history behind them, and I hope you really enjoy them. Hope you just enjoy those. I like to throw those from time to time in my videos, and I plan on doing it in the future as well, to throw those in the videos. Take a look at some of these finds that we found a few years ago and the history behind them. I got part of a little pistol. Man, that's cool. Let it dry a minute. It says a K on it, Circle K. Huh. I wonder if that has to do with the old grocery store, the old, not grocery store, the gas station, Circle K. I know they didn't really have these out here in the South Carolina way back in the day. But it does have a Circle K on it, man. That's cool. Found another piece of it. There's the little, there's the other part right there. Man, that's cool. I'll clean this thing up best I can. But that is neat. Oh, it's got a little flower on it, a little clover or flower, some sort of deal on the end of it there. That's got a cool design in it. All right, I'll clean it up later and we'll look at it better. Cool. After doing a little research, I found something very interesting. The company that manufactured this cap gun was called Kilgore Manufacturing Company. The Kilgore Manufacturing Company was started in 1912 by Joseph D. Kilgore in Homestead, Pennsylvania, to manufacture small cast iron cap pistols. At one time, Kilgore was the largest toy cap pistol maker in the United States. Cap guns became especially popular when the heroes of cinema and television rode through the West, ridding the territories of villains. Many cap guns were named after or endorsed by leading matinee idols like Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, The Lone Ranger, Tonto, Dale Evans, Marshall Dillon, and any of the countless others. I don't know if y'all know this, but Jacob is really big into trains. And looky here what he just found, all by his little self. Good job, man. That's all right. So that's one of the railroad spikes from out here at the old track. Good deal, man. That's awesome. I got one. It's a little short one. It's not as long as you normally see. That's awesome. Sweet. Most everybody is familiar with a Singer sewing machine. Well, Singer Manufacturing Company used to make sewing machines right here in the upstate of South Carolina. In the 1920s, Singer Manufacturing located a sewing machine cabinet plant on the Pickens Railroad. The plant eventually became the railroad's biggest customer, and the line was purchased outright in 1939 by Singer. From 1927 to 1929, the Appalachian Lumber Company built an operated network of logging rail lines in the upper portion of Pickens County from East Otoe to Pickens. By 1939, it too was also acquired by Singer and organized under the Poinsett Lumber and Manufacturing Company. However, disaster struck when a series of violent storms and floods washed out the trestles and much of the track, and it was never rebuilt. From this time forward, they began running logging trucks up the mountains to bring it back to the sawmill. Since then, Singer Manufacturing is no longer in the area here in the upstate of South Carolina. And the property is now owned by the Market at the Mill. And it has over 150 vendors of local businesses. If you are ever in this area, you gotta stop by, check it out. The Market at the Mill. I didn't expect to see out here, laying right on top of the grass, a U.S. postage stamp, 3-cent postage stamp. Lady Liberty on it. That is interesting. I'll put that in here and see if I can't save it. The history of the postage stamp is quite interesting. The first postage stamp ever issued was in 1840 in England. Before 1840, the postal system was very inefficient and costly. The postage was paid by the receiver at the time of delivery. If they could not pay for it or did not want the letter, it could be rejected. Thus, the mail carrier would not receive the money for their work. The cost of receiving a letter was expensive. It was based on the distance the letter traveled, as well as how much paper was contained within the letter. This also caused the postal workers to handle cash and do various transactions, which was also time-consuming. Then a man named Rowland Hill invented the first postage stamp. He was a teacher and was later knighted for this invention. He described the stamp in these words: "A bit of paper, just large enough to bear the stamp and covered at the back with a gluttonous wash." The point there was to lick the reverse so that way you could stick it to the letter. This first stamp invented by Rowland Hill was called the penny black stamp. It was printed with Queen Victoria on its face. Hence the cost of this stamp was 1 penny. This was a huge impact on the postal system of England. It gradually became popular in other countries, including in the United States in 1847. The first U.S. postage stamp was the 5-cent Franklin stamp and also the 10-cent George Washington stamp. Now this particular 3-cent Liberty stamp, which I found out metal detecting, was part of the Liberty series of stamps first issued on June 24, 1954. The Liberty series replaced the 1938 presidential series of stamps. This patriotic set of stamps honored guardians of freedom throughout U.S. history. It also features famous locations such as Bunker Hill, Independence Hall, and the Alamo. This Liberty series of the U.S. postage stamps was the first definitive stamp bearing the motto, "In God We Trust." And now we all know a little more history of the postage stamp. Alright guys, well, hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. It wasn't metal detecting, it wasn't us finding great stuff and new things, but man, I do appreciate you watching the video. Appreciate you being a subscriber to the channel. We've got much more coming. Again, we've got these metal detecting events coming up. We got one at Oconee coming up in March. We have one in Stanton, Arizona in April, and we are really, really looking forward to this. We're starting to vamp up and get ready for these events, and I got to go back up to Oconee hopefully another week or so and do some prep work up there and get some things ready. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good day. God bless. We'll see you next time, and always remember to treat other people how you want to be treated. See ya.